Eu queria fazer uma pergunta, ainda pegando carona no que a Carla acabou de falar. Quase 2/3 das mulheres nessa fase da perimenopausa experimentam brain fog, uma certa dificuldade de memória. Às vezes a gente acha que está perdendo a cabeça, isso é muito normal, as mulheres se sentem assim. No ambiente de trabalho isso pode ser muito assustador. A gente pensa que, então, nós vamos ser desvalorizadas, né? Vamos dizer, bom, o cérebro da mulher piora nessa fase, mas você já falou que nos testes cognitivos que são realizados entre mulheres e homens nessa mesma idade, as mulheres continuam, mesmo vivendo a perimenopausa, performando melhor do que os homens nos testes cognitivos. Você poderia explicar isso melhor, por favor?
Yes, happily, Sarah. I think that's a really important point of conversation because the notion that menopause puts you at a disadvantage is very realistic for women because we may experience symptoms that are very disruptive also for a long amount of time. And like you said, up to 62% of all perimenopausal and postmenopausal women report brain fog, which is more like a colloquial term, but in clinical terms, we refer to that as cognitive fatigue or mental fatigue, which is almost like having a hard time doing things that used to be a no-brainer, right? No pun intended. And that is cause of enormous stress for so many women, in part because that may impact your ability to just function in the house, at work, for yourself. It can be really disruptive to the point that a lot of our patients actually come to us at first because they are concerned that they may be experiencing early onset dementia. I think it's really important to talk about this because so many women just don't know what hit them. They worry that maybe they're going crazy, maybe they're losing their minds, maybe they are developing dementia, they're just young for that. So it's really important to explain that that can happen because estrogen in particular is a very important hormone for brain health and cognition. It is important for memory, for attention, and for language. So when women are having a hard time remembering things, they're having the forgetfulness or the memory lapses, or so many women will come to us and say, I feel like I'm getting ADHD, attention deficit disorder. I can't function the way I used to. I can't come up with words. I'm having a hard time talking even. And that could be really disruptive. That could be a direct consequence of the change in hormonal concentrations during the transition to menopause and the impact that that has on the brain. Now, what happens when you come to us or to other clinics for an evaluation is this. So let's say that a woman in midlife takes a standardized test for cognition and memory. We use one here, which I'm sure you have in Brazil. It's called the MOCA, formerly the MMSE, Mini Mental State Examination. The scores go from 0 to 30. Most women, my age and your age, most women in the menopausal or premenopausal window would score anywhere between 27 and 30. It's very unusual to be below. So you have 27, 28, 29, and 30. If you're at 30 and you wake up in menopause and you're at 28, that is terrifying because it means going from being a top performer to not a top performer, right? And that is terrifying to you. I'm a 30 when I get tested. I would have a really hard time not being able to get again to the 30. You would feel it. But 28 is perfectly normal. And so it's really important to say that for women doing this kind of evaluations, what we have learned is that, yes, for you, that is a big difference. But clinically, you're fine. Most women will still score within the normal range by age and education, which is really important and reassuring to know. And the other point is that when you actually compare men and women in midlife, but also later in life, on cognitive testing, the women, before menopause, the women outperform men on most memory tests, especially for verbal memory, which is the memory of things that happen to you, memories that can be communicated, memories of things you've done, you've said, especially. With menopause, what can happen is that the average comes down for women to the same level as a man of the same age who's not going through menopause. And that is almost funny if you think about it. But it's really important to clarify that even with the symptoms, with the disruption, with the not being able to sleep, with the hot flashes, with the brain fog, women are not underperformers. That is very, very important to clarify.